that time, I didn't know no grilled cheese sandwich and all that. Like, I don't know, you can judge me all you want. I was from the village, I didn't know. So I'm like, okay, grilled cheese sandwich. I'm like, do you have rice? And then she's like, no. Do you have jollof? She's like, no. Honestly, I asked all this stuff. I even asked, do they have banku? And they said no. I'm like, eh. Hey family, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I am going to share with you guys a story about my first time on a plane. I know you are going to enjoy this story and it's super funny. My husband finds it hilarious, so I know you will too. If you are new here, my name is Jemima. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, also leave a comment, okay? And if you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Don't forget to like, also leave a comment, and let's enjoy together. So without wasting much time, let's get into the video. Ooh. Honestly, I can't really believe I'm sharing this story because it's like it brings back memories, it brings back love, sadness, it brings back like every emotion like you can think of, because like I will leave some of the stories for another time when we all get to know each other more, so you will get to know me more. But then I didn't know anybody in the United States, okay? Like I didn't have a family here, I didn't have a sister, like I didn't know anybody in the United States. I took my bag, I'm coming to the United States. I didn't know anybody. So some of you may know I took SAT exam. It's a scholar exam, and then when you pass, it depends on your score, you get a school and you come, okay? So initially I didn't know anybody, so I just took my bags. Coming to America, the whole emotions, you're coming to America, you don't know anybody, like that kind of feelings. Like I was sick, like the day before I was sick, like I had fever. It was like all the malaria that I had not had in like 2 years came into existence the night before. You know what I was thinking? It was the devil. You know, like before it's my family, witches, it's whatever. They probably don't want me to come. At that point, even the day before, I was still thinking, will I even get to go? What if something happens? You know, like anybody who is coming to America has probably, or Canada, whatever, Italy or whatever, has probably had that feeling. So I'm like, am I going to come? What if something happens? So fast forward to the day that I was coming. So I was still sick, I was throwing up, and my mom killed the goats for me and we celebrated. But yo, I threw up the whole food in the car. Like I was so sick. And then when we got to the airport, my family entered. Like it was the old Ghana airport, so like people could enter and stuff. And so my family entered, like we saw each other, we hugged, we goodbye. Like I was really hot, and then I didn't even know what was going on. I wasn't even feeling anything. I had just one bag because like I was sick, and then I couldn't have like a lot of bags. So when I was going through the security, I went, you know, like that time was when Ebola was fresh, you know, like there was Ebola and stuff. So like they were doing like temperature checks at the airport and stuff. So when I got to the temperature check station, the guy, he took my temperature and then he asked me, oh, just stand here. And I'm like, oh Lord, my family witches. Now I can't even go. I don't think I'm going to America anymore. I have to remain calm. I think I'm going. I'm like, I knew I wouldn't go. I knew it. And so like he told me, he was like, you stand here, we'll get back to you. I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened? Did they cancel my visa? This? And I was just saying all kind of stuff to myself. So then he came and he's like, are you feeling okay? Your temperature is high and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, about my temperature, I'm not feeling good. I'm from Asamai Kesi. The road is bad. the way the road is bad there, with dust and stuff, it went through my nose and I have cold. That's why I am hot right now, because of the road, because of the cold. And then he was like, okay, you're going to steady, right? And I'm like, yeah. It's like steady hard, blah blah blah. And then he let me go. So then my dad called me. He was like, oh, did you get through the security and stuff? I'm like, yeah. So I was taking British Airways, so I just went to the wait in the gate. I went super early because, you know, it's your first time, you're thinking all kind of stuff, you want to get there early and all that. So I went to sit there. I was waiting for the plane. It was time, so we went to the plane. Okay, so we went to the plane. It was my first time. I was looking for my seat number, so because like it was on my ticket, and so I found my seat number. I don't really remember what it was. And then I went to sit down. I was in the middle row. There was a guy next to me and another man next to me. And so when the plane like started, you know, like how people say they feel nausea, they want to throw up and stuff, I didn't feel anything, bro. When the plane left, I think I was sleeping, so I didn't even know when it left or whatever. As soon as I got in, I sat down, I put on my seatbelt, and that was it. I just dozed off because I was sick. I wasn't feeling good. So the first thing that they came around, they gave blankets, and then they gave earpiece. And so after they gave those stuff, and they came around again, and then they were serving food. So I was sleeping and they woke me up for the food. And the guy next to me said, they ask you beef or chicken. So the guy next to me said beef. So in my head, I'm like, I don't want to say beef, or it will be like I copied him or something because he said beef. I said beef. It will be like I don't know what I'm doing, bro. Probably he wasn't even thinking about me. And then he said beef. I'm like, I'll say chicken. So it'll be like I know what I'm doing. And so he said beef. I said chicken. And then they brought the food, bro. He opened his was jollof rice. I'm like, oh cool. And then I opened mine. Guess what it was? Rice and soup. I am sick. I don't need rice and soup. I kept looking at the guys, so I'm like, I should have ordered beef. Why did I even order rice and soup? And so like I'm like, whatever. I couldn't even eat it anyway. When I woke up, it wasn't there. They had already cleared the table, and then soon they brought some drinks and other stuff. Then I tried listening to music, and then I watched a movie, and then we were at UK. It didn't even take long. It was like 6 hours flight to UK, and then we got to UK. So when we got there, I had like 30 minutes layover at UK, and they had my name on their board. So they told me like I have just 30 minutes layover. They have to show where I'm going fast and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, fine. So I haven't been anywhere apart from Asamakese to Accra or to Abitifi. Now I'm at UK airport. This big airport. I didn't even know where I was going, where I was from. I was lost. And then like I asked somebody where the terminal was, because I think I knew the terminal that I was going to. And then he was like, oh, you just go here and then go upstairs, take the elevator, take the escalator, and then you take the train, and then you go to this side. That was a lot. I just saw people going, so I met a guy and I'm like, I'm going to this, I have to take a train. And then he was like, oh, I don't even know where I'm going to. Like, you're not crazy, maybe I'm not here. So I'm like, okay, I'll just stand there. So I stood there, then I saw the train. I think I asked somebody who told me to wait for the train. So then the train came. So I'm like, okay, so when the train comes, I just go into the train, then I ask the train driver where I'm going, because I don't even know where I'll go. If the train starts, it will probably take me to another country because I don't know where I'm going. Then the train came, I stepped into the train, no seats, just bars, and then me looking for the driver. Onya, no driver. The train, nobody is driving the train, so nobody to even ask where I'm going, where I need to go. So the train, it just it just started going, and then luckily it says wherever it's going. So if it's going to ABC, it's like kind of ABC, then goes A side, and then the gates open, and then it gets off, you can get off. So I think I was going to the F side or something like that. I don't really remember. It's been 6 years. Give me a break. So I went to the side that I was going, and then I alighted. At that time, 20 minutes had already passed. It had already passed, so I didn't even have enough time. And you know what I did? Oh, Christine, in the plane, I had packed the stuff that they gave to me in the plane, because I told you guys I was sick. I couldn't eat the water, the snacks, the drinks, and everything. I packed it in my bag, because I'm like, oh, I'll probably eat it somewhere, or like when I get to school I'll need it, and so I packed everything in my bag. So when I got to the checkout line where they were checking my bags, the I forgot what the name is, the TSA or something. When I got there, they checked my bag and they took my bag out. They were like, oh, they have to take a look in my bag because it probably has food and stuff in it. That delayed me because there were a lot of stuff, a lot of people from that plane, and then they were checking a lot of bags, and my flight had already left by the time he got done checking my bags. I was crying. I didn't know what to do, because I was thinking in my mind, I was like, if the plane leaves, I'm here. Bro, you know how old I was? 19. I was 19, and I was traveling alone. I didn't know anybody, so it was a lot for me, and I was crying. I was like, my flight left. Does that mean I stay in UK? I'm not even coming to UK. Like, nobody knows I'm coming to UK. So I just went off, and they told me to tell the flight, because I was using the UK flight. So that was what I was using. So I went to the front desk, and then they rescheduled my flight for me. So initially I was going to pass through Chicago, but then they changed the flight to Texas. So from Texas to Kansas City, from Kansas City to Nebraska. So now we're on our way to Texas, okay? And so like I boarded the flight again, and then I'm like, this time I am very serious about anything. If they ask me chicken or beef, I'm saying beef. I'm not joking. If somebody else sitting by me says beef, I don't care who that person is, I'm saying beef no matter what. And so like here the flight attendant came, and they were like, chicken or beef, and then I'm like, beef, because I know like I'm getting my jollof rice again. So okay, so I opened my beef. I thought it was my jollof rice, and it was ravioli. So the next person who said chicken, guess what? Rice and some chicken stew. They were playing with me. I think somebody was doing me, because they were playing with me. I said beef, I don't get the right beef. I said chicken, I didn't even get the right chicken. So this time the person who was next to me, I'm like, I don't think I'm eating in this plane anymore. When they ask me for food, I'm not eating anymore, because they're playing tricks on me. So then fast forward, we went from Texas, and we went from UK to Texas. So then we got to Texas. I waited, and I had to go to Kansas City, and from Kansas City to Nebraska. So when I got to Kansas City, my school officials picked me up from Kansas City. So when they picked me up, I was sleeping in the car and everything, and it was those everything you watch in the movie. They have your name on the board. You just go, and then you meet them, you say hi, they help you with your bags, they put it in your trunk, and then au revoir, you go. So I was sleeping, and then like I opened my eyes, and there was a police officer right next to the car, and then the police officer was asking the woman who was driving that why she was speeding and stuff. And so like after we passed by the police officer, I was like, okay, so what happened? And then she was like, oh, nothing, worst case scenario, he could have given me a ticket. And then I was like, oh, a ticket, that would have been nice. You know, like I'm from Africa. If a police catches you, the police don't give you a ticket to, you know, wink wink. You just put that money and pass your driver's license, and then you give it along, and they don't give you a ticket. No call. But here they give you a ticket, and then you use the ticket for court. But me, I'm thinking if they give you a ticket, it's for concert. Or if you get a ticket, maybe you're going to use it to buy food. How will I know? So she said ticket. I'm thinking in my mind, oh, that would have been great. And she didn't say anything. I'm still to this day thinking she probably was thinking, oh, she's a dum-dum, or probably not, or whatever. So then I got to the school, and then, as you know, it was like around 7 o'clock-ish. But one thing was, I didn't know that, I didn't research, and I didn't know that like in the States or here, not Africa, they have daylight savings. It doesn't get dark until 9 o'clock. So when I got here, and then it was around 8:30, 7:30ish, and I was like, I don't get it. Why is it still light? Why is there still light outside? And there was light outside. I still didn't get that whole thing until like a week later, that I knew that, oh, it doesn't really get dark until 9 o'clock. Like, you know, like in Africa where it gets dark at 6 o'clock, it doesn't really get dark until like 9 o'clock. So like, fast forward the next day after I arrived, so they made someone pick me up, and then they took me to the international students designated international students office. And then she was supposed to take me around. So she was like, oh, there is a Nigerian here. And then he turned out to be my best friend later. He's still my friend. So I didn't meet him until like later. So before she had to get me something to eat, because I had complained that I was hungry. And then she took me to the cafeteria. So when she took me there was a list of food, and there was no pictures. Me in Ghana, I wasn't that type of person who was going to Accra and stuff, who was eating outside, who knew about burger and pizza and stuff. I didn't. I was from as I said, I didn't know all those stuff, my friend. So all those stuff was news to me, you know, like I didn't know about those things. So if you give me a list of food without pictures, you are just wasting your time, because I don't know. So this woman gave me a list of the cafeteria woman, I mean, she gave me a list, I mean, it was on the board, and there was some on the shelf. And so it's like, she was like, oh, this is a list of food we have, so you can order what you want. And then I'm looking, I'm like, grilled cheese sandwich, blah blah blah. At that time, I didn't know no grilled cheese sandwich and all that. Like, I don't know, you can judge me all you want, I was from the village, I didn't know. So I'm like, okay, grilled cheese sandwich. I'm like, do you have rice? And then she's like, no. Do you have jollof? She's like, no. And it's like, I asked all those stuff. I even asked, do they have banku? And they said no. I'm like, which kind of food does these people eat now? Because you don't have banku, you don't have jollof, you don't have all those fun food. No, what do they eat? And then I told the woman, I'm like, I don't know why they don't have rice and all those stuff. I don't know. Hey, I was crazy, because she probably was thinking in her mind that what's this girl thinking? She probably wasn't. So anyway, she was like, oh, okay, so I'm going to take you to Walmart so you can order what you want, and you can buy what you want so you can cook some stuff. Okay, I'm like, okay. And so we got to Walmart. I was still hungry, and so she was like, oh, if you're hungry, I can take you to Subway so you can get something, you can buy something. I'm like, okay. And so she took me to Subway, and then I'm like, I don't know what to order. And she was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, can you order what you normally get? And she was like, okay, and then I'll just pay for it. And then she ordered like a foot, she asked me if I like a foot long or a 6-inch. So I ordered a 6-inch sandwich. Hey, that thing was like $5. Like, it was $4 something, was $5. That time, I calculated my money, because the whole 4 years that I was coming, I have $100. So I have to be eating like $2 a month or something. And this woman, the Subway woman, charged me almost $5 for Subway half. In my mind, what was going on in my mind? I calculated my $5 to Ghana cedis. and I'm like, hey, at that time I don't even remember, I was like 20 cedis or 25 cedis. I was like, oh my god, I can't believe I spent 25 cedis on this much brodo. I can't believe I spent. So I called my friend. I had a friend in Algeria. I mean, I still have a friend in Algeria, and it was Bishop. And then I called him, I'm like, Bishop, I can't believe this. So I bought sandwich for 25 cedis. At that time, 25 cedis was a lot of money. It was 6 years ago. It was 2015 or yeah, 2015. So it was a lot of money. I'm like, I bought sandwich for 25 cedis. Yeah. Well, we'll leave the rest of the story for another time. I don't want to take much of your time. It's been like 12 minutes or 15 minutes already. So I hope you find this story interesting, and I hope this story will make your day and will make you know how things actually work your first time taking a plane, coming to the States, or going wherever. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I am so excited you were able to. If today is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've been here already and you're part of the family, thank you so much for supporting your girl. And until we meet next time, stay safe, stay calm, stay productive, stay gorgeous, be a queen, be a king, and let's meet next time. Bye.